Welcome back to Ben's Book Club. Today we are diving into the book Sort Your Career Out and Make More Money. If you've been treating your daily 9 to 5 as just a place you go to collect a paycheck, well, it's time for a massive paradigm shift. Today we're exploring how to completely reframe your professional life. We aren't just going to talk about climbing some corporate ladder. Instead, we're looking at the brilliant strategies laid out by authors Shelley and Glen to treat your career as your absolute best high-yield financial asset. Would someone pay top dollar for your skills right now? It's a bit of a jolting question, isn't it? But we really need to shake out of that passive employee mindset. Your career is not something that just happens to you while you sit at a desk. You are holding an asset, and that asset has a precise market value. The ultimate goal of our explainer today is to figure out exactly how to drive that market value all the way up, increasing your earning power while genuinely enjoying what you do.
So here's our investment prospectus for today. We're going to cover 1. Your career investment thesis, 2. Auditing your bankability, 3. Compounding your earning power, and 4. Knowing when to sell. Let's jump right in.
Starting with Section 1, your career investment thesis. This is all about building that rock-solid foundation.
The authors make a really brilliant distinction right out of the gate. Think about the passive employee. You know, that outdated approach of just standing at the bottom of a corporate ladder, waiting around for someone above to hand down a promotion. Contrast that with the active investor. This represents a much more gritty, resilient mindset. You aren't waiting for a ladder at all. You are driving your own career road trip. You are entirely in the driver's seat of this asset. Dream jobs don't just magically appear out of thin air. You engineer them through strategy, self-awareness, and proactive ownership.
So ask yourself, are you chasing a paycheck at the expense of your sanity? Johnson and James insist that any great career strategy will completely fail if it's built on what someone else wants for you. Before you even think about looking at job boards or, tweaking a cover letter, you absolutely must align your career with your personal core values. Think of this as your before you drive check. You literally cannot build a high-earning, sustainable career if you're fundamentally misaligned with what you value. It's a guaranteed recipe for burnout, not wealth.
Moving right along to Section 2, Auditing your bankability. Time to check those assets.
So what exactly is bankability? Well, it's your harder technical skills combined right alongside your soft skills. You really have to step back and look at your skills objectively, almost like a product sitting on a store shelf. Is that product ready to be packaged and sold? See, your value in the marketplace isn't stagnant. It's something you actively build, refine, and market. If your bankability is low, well, your return on investment is going to be low. It really is that simple.
The book uses this core 3-part tactical progression structured exactly like a road trip. Step 1 is planning, where we unpack those mental barriers and align the values we just talked about. Step 2 is hitting the open road, which is all about taking action, optimizing your daily habits, and actually executing your tactics. And Step 3 is reaching the end of the road, where you manage risks, navigate those inevitable curveballs, and handle transitions. It's basically a complete life cycle for managing your career asset.
All right, Section 3, compounding your earning power, or as I like to think of it, making money your new favorite hobby. Here we are shifting away from standard HR tasks to pure financial optimization, and the authors are ruthless about this. Simply changing the font on your resume or using a prettier template, yeah, that will not magically fix your career ROI. We need to get into the granular mechanics here. Standard advice says update your resume. Financial optimization says repackage your bankable skills to justify a 20% salary increase. Standard advice says go to networking drinks. Optimization says build strategic relationships that yield insider opportunities. It's an entirely different way of playing the game.
So here is how this builds into your daily execution. First up, create your own opportunities through visibility. Don't just wait around to be noticed. Second, set personal success metrics rather than just adopting generic corporate goals. Third, master modern interview frameworks so you can clearly communicate your objective market worth. And finally, like we just said, avoid superficial networking drinks. Instead, focus on deep, mutually beneficial professional connections. These are the daily habits that attract high-yield opportunities and really compound your baseline earnings over time.
Which brings us to our final section, number 4, knowing when to sell, because every good portfolio manager knows exactly when to cut their losses.
I absolutely love this blunt reality check from Chapter 11. Quote, at the roundabout, leave your job because it sucks. It is the perfect pattern interrupt. Sometimes the absolute best financial and career move you can make is walking away from a bad investment.
We're so conditioned to grit it out, right? To show loyalty, even when a workplace is completely draining us. But if you're treating your career as an asset, you have to recognize when an environment is actively depreciating your value.
So what are the key red flags that scream sell? Well, you need to become highly skilled at recognizing toxic workplace cultures early on. You also must actively manage and acknowledge burnout, because burnout straight up destroys your ability to earn and perform. You've got to be prepared to handle unexpected curveballs, like a redundancy, without letting it shatter your confidence. And when you do decide that an off-road detour is necessary for your mental and financial wealth, you need to execute a clean, highly strategic exit. Don't burn bridges, but absolutely do not hesitate to take your highly valuable assets somewhere else.
So I want to leave you with this final thought and a challenge. What concrete step will you take this month to increase your career ROI? I really challenge you to audit your current role against your personal core values this very week. Identify where you're losing value and where you can really compound your strengths. It takes work, for sure, but the fulfillment and the financial payoff are entirely worth it. Thank you for joining me, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss an episode.